This ABC 15 flash briefing is sponsored by Sanderson Ford. Straight up.
Hello, I'm Allison Rodriguez with your top stories from ABC 15 Arizona. A tragedy in Scottsdale. Yesterday, a Good Samaritan trying to help a motorcyclist who had fallen was killed while out there trying to help. The Department of Public Safety saying 2 vehicles stopped to help the motorcyclist, but another car crashed into them, causing them to catch fire. We're told 1 woman was unable to escape the flames. Several streets, parks, and schools in Tempe could be getting new names after city officials learned the current names are associated with deceased members of the KKK. 3 schools within the Tempe Elementary School District are among those who could get new names. Those schools, they were named after men who were members of the KKK's Butte chapters back in the 1920s. Tempe's city manager saying a community member brought the issue to the attention of the council at the end of last year. The city was only able to confirm the information recently because many historical records were closed to the public because of COVID. He says now that they are aware of the history, they're going to work with several community groups to come up with other possible names.
We intend to be very inclusive and thoughtful about the approach. We are a community that believes very strongly in diversity, inclusion, equity. And we want to make sure that if we take a step like this, a significant step like this, that we do so consistent with our values as well.
Council will discuss the name change at its meeting later this week. Officials with the school district have not said how they're going to handle the name changes, only saying they value an inclusive process and welcome input from the community. Students and staff at the Washington Elementary School District kicking off their new mask mandate indoors. The district saying exemptions will only be considered for people with disabilities. The goal is to reduce the number of students who have to quarantine when there are COVID-19 cases at school. Well, right now, Lake Mead is seeing its lowest water level since the construction of the Hoover Dam back in the 1930s. Vice President Kamala Harris today making the case for President Biden's economic agenda, which includes climate change components. The vice president saying that the Build Back Better agenda will provide investments in clean energy and electric vehicles, which in turn reduce emissions. With midterm elections only a year away, both Democrats and Republicans, they're reaching out to one growing group of voters. In 2020, 37% of Latinos in Arizona voted for Donald Trump, the most ever cast for a Republican presidential candidate. Now, the former president came to Phoenix back in 2020 and courted the Latino vote. With the margins of victory in statewide races expected to be close next year, Latino voters are being targeted by both parties. Small groups like these Phoenix area business owners listened as Democratic leaders sold the benefits of Biden's American Rescue Plan over breakfast.
The Latino vote is growing. It's growing power, and I think that Republicans know what's at stake, and Democrats cannot take our vote for granted.
Many Latinos are religiously conservative and do oppose abortion, which may figure prominently in next year's governor's race. The border will also be a factor in the U.S. Senate race, 2 hot-button issues which are likely to drive Latino voters to the polls. Well, the local housing market still red hot in spite of hopes that things would cool off a bit. Home prices in Phoenix, they're still going up. Real estate experts projecting most homes in the valley will jump at least $100,000 in the next year. Listen to this price tag rather. Zillow is estimating by this time next year more than $500,000 for your average home in the valley. Now, just for context, that's $200,000 more than the average home in the valley just last year, a more than 60% increase in price.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sellens tracking your forecast and some cooler air moving in today. Temperatures tonight back down into the 50s across the valley, and daytime highs tomorrow dropping about 5 degrees. For Phoenix, we'll probably hit 80 around 3 p.m., but much of the rest of the valley in the 70s. Those 70s start in the late morning, and by lunchtime we'll hit 75 degrees here in Phoenix, 79 around 4 p.m., and still in the 70s as we approach 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Now across the state, high temperatures tomorrow in the upper 70s to low 80s out to the west. Flagstaff at only 55 degrees, low to mid 60s in Prescott and Payson, Heber and Show Low in the low 60s tomorrow too, and much lighter with those wind speeds across the state. Just a few breezes across eastern Arizona tomorrow afternoon. Here in the valley, we'll spend the rest of the week trying to climb back up near 90 again. It looks like we'll barely avoid it, but temperatures will keep on going to about 89 by Friday, Saturday at 87, and then by early next week, another storm bringing a slight chance of showers.
For the latest headlines, weather, and traffic, you can head to abc15.com or download that free ABC 15 mobile app.
This ABC 15 Flash Briefing is sponsored by Sanderson Ford. Straight up.